Somebody got to say it. Anybody who watches another Jake Paul fight, you stupid as shit. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if there was more of a fight or anything in the world that was more staged than the shit we saw yesterday. And I never said this out loud, but it kind of worried me. What I actually said is the fight is not going to happen. The reason I didn't think the fight would happen is as applicable to the fight being staged the way that it was, which leads me to believe that every Jake Paul fight, other than the very first one we saw where he boxed a basketball player, every one of them since has been staged. After the second round, going into the third round and leaving out of the third round, I started to feel that Mike Tyson is on some what do I care shit. I get this big payday. I'm not sure how much it was. And it is what it is. I'll tell y'all why. What was the first thing that tipped me off to this was some bullshit. Who did they have commentating the fight? We know two names. Well, the other guy, I don't know his name, but the middle guy, we know that name. Roy Jones. I know the voice of the guy, I just never knew his name. But the voice is familiar. We've heard it before. Who was the third commentator? Rosie Perez. What the fuck is going on? We've never heard Rosie Perez speak about boxing in life. I am hearing her voice and I'm like, damn, this voice sounds familiar. Who is this? And come to find out, it's Rosie Perez, the same one who was in Steve Harvey show, the same one who was in White Men Can't Jump, the same one we haven't seen for the better part of 20 years, is commentating a boxing match that's supposed to be considered serious. Why? You couldn't put Max Kellerman up there. Because Max Kellerman would have known that that shit was staged all the way. You watch Mike Tyson in training, and you put this shit together. You watch what he was doing in training. And you watch how Jake Paul boxed, leaving his body open. You watch how Mike Tyson hit the mitts in training. And if he did that in the first round, that fight is over. He never did it. He landed 18 punches the whole fight. This is Mike Tyson, y'all. When he was weighing in before he slapped Jake Paul, I was like, his legs don't look right. I remember them showing him working out, and he only worked on his, what they showed, he only worked on his upper body. Ladies and gentlemen, last year, Mike Tyson was walking on a cane. He was had a walking stick. That's real shit. I said that the fight wasn't going to happen because if Jake Paul, no matter if it is Mike Tyson or not, if Jake Paul get knocked out by a 58-year-old person, even if it is Mike Tyson, his boxing and the money train is over. Nobody's going to box him. Nobody's going to take him seriously. Nobody is going to continue pouring money to this. So that's why I said initially the boxing match wouldn't happen. But to see one of our legends blatantly throw this fight, it hurts the sport. God bless. Show off.
What you were doing with your glove, was it a mouthpiece issue or were you just biting on your glove?
I got a theory. I don't know this for certain or whatever the case may be, but it's much like biting your nails. people who bite their nails typically have anxiety. It's usually coming from some things that they want to do, but they're trying to keep themselves from doing it. So here's the thing. With AI being what it is, right? There's this clip that's circulating around that came out before the fight that said that Tyson, if it was stipulated in the contract, and I don't know, again, I'm saying allegedly because I don't know if it was a real clip, but it damn sure sounded like Joe Rogan. There's this clip floating around that says that if Mike Tyson, the earlier Mike Tyson, knocks Jake Paul out, and this was in the contract, the less money he made. So much so that if he knocked Jake Paul out in the first round, that he wouldn't get paid anything. Now, before y'all start talking about this is a childhood hero and so on and so forth, and that I'm just trying to preserve his legacy or whatnot, I need y'all to understand these common sense facts that go to support what was said in that video. Jake Paul's team signed a contract with Netflix, which means going forward, they will have exclusive rights to Jake Paul's fights, which means Netflix is invested in Jake Paul for the longer run. When Jake Paul was on the stage, he said these words to Mike Tyson: "We signed the deal with Netflix, and we came to get you. I gave this to you. You're my son, and I'm going to discipline you. Therefore, it would be a bad look for Jake Paul to get knocked out in his first Netflix fight. The earlier the knockout, the worse look it is. If Jake Paul goes into this deal where he's making $40 million for this fight, and he gets knocked out in the first round, that contract is pretty much over. Now, if you go back and watch that fight in full, and watch how Tyson came out, and then watch when he started biting his glove, and what he did for the rest of the fight, what was stated in that contract makes all the fucking sense in the world. Once you take into account what we watched Mike Tyson do in the training session the day before, if you take into account the training sessions that we saw Mike Tyson do leading up to this, if we take into account the training sessions that we've seen Mike Tyson do over the last 4 years, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave y'all with this. God bless.